Okay, the patch notes for a 1.03.1 just dropped for Armored Core 6, and it's looking pretty interesting. There's some really big changes across the board. I don't know all the old values on top of my head, and I have a cheat sheet right next to me for new values, so let's go through it. Weapon units. Okay, we start with the explosive thrower. Gets an increased effective range to 125. Increased total rounds to 48, which is, I think, almost double of the old value, if I remember correctly. And a decreased reload time to 3.1 seconds, which is a really big improvement to the weapon. He always ran out of ammo, and the range was always a bit too short. I think this will increase the uptime of the weapon greatly. Next we have the linear rifle Curtis, which gets a decrease in recoil and charge time. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how big of a change these. The linear rifle Harris, which gets increased attack power, cooling, and increase in charge time. And its increased charge attack power is 977, so that's a boost. The first nerf is for the shotgun Haldeman. It's a direct hit adjustment nerf. I don't know what the previous value was, but the new value is 190. Of course, the biggest change here is for the shotgun Zimmerman. Decreased attack power, impact, accumulative impact, direct hit adjustment. So all across the board, all its values decrease by around 20%, roughly. New attack power is 800, impact 620, cumulative impact 360. The direct hit adjustment has been reduced to 180. So this is a big hit, well deserved in my opinion, but a big hit. Then we have a bunch of handguns. They all get increased rounds, so it's not really a matter. Doesn't really matter for PvP, but for PvE, it will be a nice change. When I use the handguns, like during some missions, I always ran out of ammo like near the end if there wasn't a resupply pod. So this is a nice adjustment for PvE. Same for the needle gun, Viento, increased rounds. I also always ran out of rounds like near the end of the game. I had so many missions like finishing with punches when using all these handguns. Then we have a bunch of bazookas and grenade launchers, and they all get the increased projectile speed and decrease in reload time. And pretty happy to see these changes. Overall, these changes are really good, especially the reload time. Yeah, they were just really slow and clunky, and they will still be slow and clunky, but at least you have a little bit more uptime. So for the Swan G, its reload time has been reduced to 3.4 seconds, which is nice. We'll have a great uptime now. The Majestic gets a new reload time of 4.2 seconds. The Little Gem will get a new reload time of 4.4 seconds. And the Detonating Bazooka Javelin Alpha gets a new reload time of 4.3 seconds. And this bazooka was like my favorite before the patch because it had the lowest reload times already out of all bazookas, and the highest damage, and the highest impact, and the highest direct adjustment. And now that all the other bazookas have been like lowered in reload time, it seems to be a little bit more balanced. Yeah, then we have the Grenade launcher, Go Chen. Increase total rounds, projectile speed, decrease reload time, and a new utility buff. Rounds now explode, reaching their effective range, even if they don't make contact. Basically, they get air burst, which will be great against like aerial builds or manual aiming. Like their new the new reload time is 5.9 seconds, which is a big change. Grenade Dizzy will get the same changes with a new reload speed of 7.01 seconds, and the Grenade Iridium will have a new reload speed of 4.5 seconds. So what I'm really happy to see about all these bazooka and grenade launcher changes is like the utility. The airburst will be really nice. Like before this, the best way to make use of these grenade launchers and bazookas was to jump in the air and then shoot down. And if you missed the blast range, might hit the mag. Sure, it will still be the main way of dealing damage, but at least now, if someone actually like flies above you and they fly high, then you have a chance to like hit them in the air with the airburst function. Next, we have the plasma rifle Nebula, a nerf. Decreased charge attack power, decreased charge impact power, charge impact, charge accumulation impact, and increased charge time. So this was probably the most popular plasma rifle or energy weapon in general because it was so easy to hit everyone. This was easily the best rifle, like energy rifle in the game, in my opinion. Like your charge damage so hard, you always hit. The only thing noting is that they don't mention like their hitboxes. So you could miss previously and still hit and damage them. That's how big the charge attack hitbox was, and they don't really mention this here, if they fixed that or not. So we'll have to see that in the future. Next big nerf is the siege hand missile. This nerf is really big, like increased reload time and decreased guidance. Now that doesn't sound too bad until you look at the values. New guidance values is 180, and out of the top of my head, that used to be 220. So now their guidance is the same as the other handheld missiles. And the reload time is now 6.5 seconds, so yeah, that's a huge nerf. The first shoulder weapon, the grenade cannon earshot, same as the bazookas, decreased reload time. Rounds now explode upon reaching their effective range, even if they remain contacts. Airburst. So how big is the decrease in reload time? Out of the top of my head, it was from 12.8 seconds, and now it's 9.3 seconds. So that's like 3.5 seconds decrease. Really good. Then we have the songbirds. This weapon will get a pretty big hit. Decreased attack power, decreased impact, decreased cumulative impact. It does get the utility, the airburst utility, but like the decreased attack power is like 99 points in damage, and that per shot. So it's like you're missing out on almost 200 damage. We'll have to see how that plays out. Stun needle launcher also gets a nerf, decreased impact, cumulative impact, direct hits, adjustment attack power on consecutive attacks. Okay, next we have the laser cannon and the diffuse laser cannon, aka the laser shotgun. They both get more rounds. So yeah, I'm not sure why this changed. If I remember correctly, they already had like more than enough ammo in for both PvE and PvP. So yeah, a bit of a weird change, but why not? Full shield launcher, increased total rounds, increased durability, and decreased weight and energy load. Will be nice change. Nice change. They always ran out of ammo really fast. I never really noticed a problem with the shield durability, but then again, it was pretty awkward to use these weapons in the first place, especially against aerial targets. But the decrease in weight and energy load is definitely welcome because they were pretty expensive in terms of those stats. Next interesting one is the light wave cannon. Aurora, decreased energy load, welcome change. And even better, the energy firearm spec now applies to this weapon. So your generator will actually affect its damage now, which means you can actually boost it with the good generators. And it also doesn't have the huge energy load as before. So that will be a pretty interesting weapon to try out. I do want to mention it does not. I do want to mention there is no indication that they actually managed to fix the hitboxes of the projectiles, because sometimes they would just phase through the enemy and do no damage because of it. Maybe it's down below in the bug fix section, but it could be a problem if it wasn't fixed. Okay, next we have the dual missiles, and these are the missiles that split into a like V direction. I never really had a problem with dodging these before, so I guess the biggest change here is the guidance and the projectile speed. Sadly, the projectile speed doesn't really have values, but the guidance got a pretty big improvement. Then the active homing missiles, increased guidance, homing lock time, and projectile speed. Now, these were the missiles that were like more like lingering around in the battlefield. And the guidance, once again, the guidance here is the biggest change. It went from like 90 to 100, 115. So there's an increase in 25. So it's pretty big. When I was using these, the biggest downside that I have, that like, yeah, of course they are very slow. That was not the problem, but when they got very close to the enemy, they kind of just lost lock. And let's hope this increasing guidance improves that. Needle missile true node. The decrease in guidance is minimal. Went from 120 to 110. So yeah, that's pretty much nothing. Nothing for nerf. The projects now follow a stable trajectory. This is a more interesting one because before the missile shot straight and then at the end curved suddenly to the enemy. I think now what they mean is that the missile will curve directly from firing towards the enemy, if that's what it means. Could also mean they will see us still shoot straight, but the curve from guidance time is smoother than before. Coral missile, decreased charge attack power, charge impact, charged cumulative impact, and direct hit adjustment. Nerfs across the board, it's like 900 decrease in charge attack power. It's yeah, what to say, these missiles deserve the nerf. If it will change a whole lot, probably not. I guess there won't be cheesy one-shot combos anymore, or less. At least less, definitely less. But there was no change in guidance, so it's still at 110 guidance. They will still be as annoying, they just hit less. Laser orbits, interesting change, especially since I've tried to make these work previously. Increased attack power, direct hit adjustment, idle range, effective range, and projectile speed. Yeah, they will just hit harder. They will hit harder. That's it. Sadly, no change in the cooling, because I found that was the biggest problem of this weapon. But yeah, this was definitely needed. It felt a little bit underpowered. Laser turrets increased projectile speed, a laser turret attack frequency, and its new frequency is 0.9. I don't really have an experience using laser turrets, so I don't really know how much of a difference the new rapid fire value is. After that, we have the frame parts. Most of these are like increase or decrease in system recovery and attitude stability. And from what we can see, most of them are increased. So that's a kind of an indirect nerf to the stun system. So all windows, like all windows of stun, will be smaller. We can see some decrease in armor points across the board for some parts. These are just damage mitigation, increase recoil control. Might be nice, but usually it's not really a huge factor in my opinion. Okay, we can see a lot of arms get increased recoil control. Buffs for the bipedal legs and increased, once again, attitude stability and also jump distance. Some armor point changes here. Oh yeah, will be a lot of tweaks in the build for the legs. It's a bit harder to see if these changes are good or not, because most of them is just an increase in like stun resistance. Okay, the big one though is the tank leg, the wheelchair tank leg. Decreased armor points values and decreased stability. So they will be. So if you manage to catch them, they will be easier to stun, and you deal more damage against them. I guess that's a welcome change for these legs. I kind of expected a change for the boat leg as well, but apparently that you can stay infinite in the air is not really a problem yet. Question mark. Okay, inner parts boosters. They all get an increase in upwards thrust from the look of it. It will definitely make it easier to catch aerial builds. If it's a good change or not, that's up for debate, I guess. If you had a lightweight missile boat might now be a problem because they can if this is good or not, it's up for debate. Lightweight missile jump like hoppers might be a problem now, because they will be able to they have an increased jump now, and the increase in upwards thrust will make them even more annoying to hit. They were already pretty safe to play. Okay, for the FCS, the PO5 will get a decrease in close range assist. I think that's a pretty decent nerf, because it already did like close range really good, and it already was the best medium range FCS. The decreased close range for the Abbott and Talbot seem a bit strange to me. The Abbott was the go-to close range assist, and slightly lower now from 80 to 70. And the Talbot was more of a hybrid close range, like was more of like a hybrid FCS. So to see that its close range gets nerfed, it's a bit weird. Generator, increased capacity, supply, recovery, energy, firearm spec. I haven't really looked at these yet, but it's interesting to see that the firearm spec gets an increase. So maybe we'll get some more build variations now, because some of the generators were just straight out bad. Expansions. Builds armor protection, increased resilience. I think that's the floating one, right? I don't think this changes much. Terminal armor, increased duration. This one is going to be annoying. Because that would mean like you actually have to disengage now after you trigger that. Okay, what else? Adjusted altitude recovery rate according to the total weight. ACS strain now dissipates much faster on lighter ACs and slower on heavier ACs. Okay. Adjustment of various boost speed rates according to the total weight. Increased top speed during assault boost for heavier ACs. Okay, I guess this is an indirect nerf to the tank bottleneck. Used to be the fastest. Used to be the fastest assault boost in the game. So I guess that's not the case anymore. I guess that's a nice nerf because you were like at max altitude within like 3 seconds at the start of the game. Increased boost kick auto attack range for the tetrapods. Guess that's a good range because you could like completely miss your kick and still hit. Increased energy consumption while hovering tetrapod legs. Okay, indirect nerf for the missile boats. Decreased impact reduction effect during assault boost. Okay, so if I read it right, it's a buff to assault boosting. So you'll be able to close the gap with missile boats and take less damage, or at least less impact, not damage. Decreased impact dealt when colliding with enemies during assault boost. Okay. Decreased impact dealt by boost kick from all leg types except reverse joint. That's a pretty interesting change. I guess people were like focusing on the kicking aspect too much as a main impact dealer. Like I used to face some people with like the heaviest biped legs, and all they would do was like charge kick into you with the hard lock activated, so you could barely miss. And after they like stunned you with the kick from continuously doing that, they would just full sended auto weapons and take out a huge chunk. Okay, adjusted damage dealt by certain weapons when attacking the pill shield deployed from pill shield launcher. Okay, this basically tells nothing because we don't know the certain weapons. Maybe they meant the disco ball launchers, the pulse guns. Bug fixes. Fix the bug with the coral oscillator where charge attacks would have a stronger tracking than intended when using the tetrapod legs. Oh yeah, that was a strange bug. It's nice that it's fixed. Fix the bug where the attack warning marker would not display from an enemy AC firing the javelin. The detonating missile javelin beta equipped to the left back slot. Okay, I've actually never seen this. Interesting. Fix the bug where the attack warning sound would not play correctly for an enemy firing grenade launcher iridium. Okay. Fix the bug where charge attacks from light wave blade moonlight and coral oscillator would clip through certain structures object. Okay, I've never seen that happening, but that's nice that it's fixed. Fix the bug where loading with a full magazine would cause certain weapons to fire unintentionally. Okay, I've never noticed that either, but good I guess. And other bug fixes. Very cool. I love other bug fixes, especially when they're not mentioned. Okay, yeah, so overall, I really like these weapon changes, at least. I don't really have much to say about the parts changes, but the weapons will be very interesting what it will bring for especially for the Zimmerman and the stun needle launcher. And I hope the bazookas will be better now because I really like the bazookas. So yeah, that's it for the patch notes.